Oi, so how weird are cars today? I don't know how many of you drive, but I've had to do a bit more driving lately, and I'm driving a fairly old car, a petrol car that doesn't have a gazillion electronics in it, whereas my parents have upgraded to these fancy new things with so much going on, and it's just like things have changed. I went through a period of not driving for quite a while. Um, and yeah, like just now when I'm on the road, particularly going to band prac, which is a longer drive than I've tended to do with my dog, and on roads that I wouldn't normally go on because I tend not to leave the local area, even when I do go out. But yeah, so I'm driving on these long roads, and I can see the new sensors, on the side mirrors, and they have these little orange sensors that tell the driver when other cars are getting a little bit close, or I don't know exactly what it is. My parents' cars have them on there now, and that's the only reason I have any clue what's going on, because the first time when I was driving and I saw one light up on their side mirrors, I actually, like, my brain immediately thought, that's their blinkers. They're indicating they want to come into my lane. And then I look closer and I'm like, oh no, wait, it's just their own sensor. Maybe car designers choosing orange wasn't the best choice. Like, was there another color they could have done so that I don't get confused as another driver who can also see this? Like, it's not just the drivers who can see it. Yeah, but so they have those things that tell the driver when other cars are getting too close, or just to be aware of them. I don't know if it's too close or if it's just like, hey, there's a car there. It might be in your blind spot. I don't know. So that's just like the main one I noticed while driving. Now, when I'm in my parents' cars, which is not very often, but I did go on quite a long trip with Mum. More on that eventually. You'll find out what that's about. But yeah, no, I went on quite a long drive with Mum in her car. Thank God I did not want to go in mine. And it's just like, every time I'm in there, it's different. Like, she has told me that she feels uncomfortable driving older cars now because she's so used to all the extra sensors. Like, when you're parking in particular, instead of just like, I mean, my car doesn't have any of these sensors at all. Not even the backwards beeping noise, not even one of the cars we used to have had like a little camera out the back so that you could see how close. No, this one has like a full, on the screen, it does a full 360-degree look at where you are and the lines, as well as the rear camera, and then little warning things that come up on screen like yellow, and then if you get even closer it goes red, and then if you're too close it goes brake. And same on the front if you're getting too close. And it's just like, there's all this wild stuff going on. And like, I can see how that's helpful. And it also has this thing, not just when like someone is coming close to you in the next lane, but like when there are cars behind and they're passing by that way, it does some kind of thing saying, hey, there's a car coming this way. So like, in the past, if there was more than one person in the car and one of like the drivers trying to reverse, the other passengers would be like, yeah, it's okay, you can go, this side's clear, and someone on the other side like, yeah, this side's clear. It kind of does that job now. Yeah, so there's always wild sensors. I can see how those things would make cars safer. Although, is it affecting my mum's driving? Because if she, or even my dad, they both have these crazy sensors now. If they go into other cars and their brain is expecting all these extra things, is that potentially, I mean, you would hope they would just drive their own cars. If there is like an apocalypse that affects fancy high-end electronics, I'm starting to feel like I'm going to be the only one who can drive us to safety, and I don't even drive manual. I have been in a manual and started to learn to drive it. Let's not talk about the state of my ex's car at that time, which made it impossible to learn in, but anyway, and was like this close to something important snapping and like us just dying probably. So I have, like, I understand the basic principles of manual driving, but I've never really done it properly. So I have an automatic car. Oh yeah, did I mention I have a car? I got one of the old hand-me-downs. I can't afford my own car. It's, And the amount of work it needed to get it up to scratch. It had battery issues, and it turns out it was not the battery, it was the alternator. And I have done a little bit too much Googling of how cars work now, and I still... Yeah, anyway, they fixed it. Cool. So I have this old... Not exactly a bomb, but by today's standards, maybe. It's automatic, and it suits me just fine, because I like, once I got the dog, I started like just pulling off these perfect reverse parallel parking things. Like, I don't always, but at the time it was just suddenly I can reverse park, and I hadn't even practiced forever, however long. You know, I probably didn't drive for almost a decade. I don't know, no, actually I did drive because I was driving to Bonsai once the pandemic hit. But, you know, driving to Bonsai, there were actually parking spots, so I didn't have to worry about that. And before my parents got the new cars, I was able to park in the driveway instead of having to park out in the street. But yeah, no, I can do that parking now, and so somehow I've just gotten better at driving, like as if my brain was doing it in the background. Anyway, never mind. Back on topic, today's cars. Okay, so I can see how they're safer with all these sensors helping you out. Maybe it affects your driving if you ever have to drive a different kind of car. But they said that about automatic cars, right? They said, oh, you should learn to drive manual. This is back in whenever I was learning to drive. You should learn to drive manual because just in case you're not driving an automatic car. But now all cars pretty much automatic. Even my mum, who used to love driving manuals, has just gone, nah, automatic, and all the fancy gadgets. You know, the lane detection and... apparently it has like a heads-up display or something, which I cannot see as a passenger, but her as a driver, it like projects onto the windshield and somehow uses that to superimpose it. I have not had that experience because I haven't driven the thing and I'm too scared to drive the thing. It has these things where you press the buttons, and so if mum's driving, she presses the button and it adjusts the seat to her settings, and then if dad's driving, it adjusts the seats to his settings. I have not had settings set up, so I'm scared to touch anything in case I bugger that up. And, you know, it's one of those cars, I don't know, like I'm used to putting the key in and turning it. The first time I ever drove a car, and this is 10 years ago even, the first hybrid car I drove, and you had to press a button to start it, and I'm just like, what? And then my friend got me to drive her car because she didn't want to drive through the city. And, you know, you press the button to start it, but I didn't press it the right way or for long enough, and so it didn't start up, and I'm just sitting there going, I have no idea what's happening. Yeah, anyway, wow, that stuff's a trip. I'm used to having a proper key. And then, in a more practical sense, okay, there are things that make me uncomfortable about modern cars. And the reason I'm thinking about this is because when I had that long drive with mum, and we were talking about cars, and, you know, dad apparently is not 100% happy with the car he chose, which is like, why wouldn't you? I don't know, he feels like he had to pick a different car to mum. Now, you can't get mum's car because of supply issues. She was very lucky to get it, but I don't know, this is just what mum has said, and mum can sometimes embellish the details. So she thinks that dad chose his car because, you know, you shouldn't have two of the same car for some reason, even though they're kind of basically the same, they're just differently shaped as far as I can tell. I don't know what the difference is between them. I think mum's is a plug-in hybrid, so it can do electric mode, like full electric mode, but it can also do hybrid mode and it can charge from a plug, whereas dad's I think is just a hybrid. Other than that, I have no idea. They just look different shapes. But there was some talk about, oh, you know, if your dad decides he doesn't like this car, your car is so garbage, maybe you can have his car if he gets a new one. And I'm like, that car? Me driving an expensive car? Fucking weird. No, I'm happy with my little shitbox car that's not even worth getting full comprehensive insurance, because if it's ever in any kind of crash at that level, it'll be written off immediately. Like, repairing it will not be worth it. So I just have the standard, you know, third party mandatory stuff. Don't break my car. Although that would give me an excuse to be more of a hermit. But no, like, I don't know, the idea of driving an expensive car, a little bit nerve-wracking, but no, more importantly, what do I not like about these cars? For one thing, they have these big screens, and yes, some of the things have little knobs and buttons, but I'm used to everything being a physical knob or button so that I can just glance at it, put my hand there, and change my settings without having to look at it. Like with your old, I've got my old Nokia here somewhere. I do still have it. I sometimes keep it. I mean, I have this delusion that I'm keeping it as a backup alarm clock, even though I never use it. It's got physical buttons. You could write stuff on it without even looking at it. No hope of that on this. So yeah, and when you're driving and you're trying to concentrate on not crashing, it's much better to do that instead of having to like look at a screen and be like, oh shit, I didn't get the setting. So that makes me nervous. Also, no CD player. My car is old enough to have a CD player. But no, the thing I realized, like, you know, I was joking to Mum about the CD player, but I realized the real reason I can't have a fancy modern car with all these high-end electronics is I don't drive enough. Why is that a problem? Because when my parents go on holiday, I have to sit in their cars, turn the engines on, so that their batteries don't die. And I just have to sit there, twiddle my thumbs. I think we did get one of my brothers involved to actually drive one of the cars. I don't know if there was a reason that one car had to be driven as opposed to just turned on. But yeah, so I mean, I'm driving more at the moment, but band prac is still, you know, maybe every fortnight or every 3 weeks. Otherwise, and I haven't really been taking the dog to the park so much because it has been wet, although, you know, the weather's getting a little bit better now. Although, yeah, today I had things on and the puppy cafe is not open on Wednesdays. But yeah, like, because I don't drive enough, you know, my shitty old, I don't know, decade and a half old car, petrol thing with, you know, no real sensors, it can sit out on the street for months and I can get in and it's fine, it works, especially now that we sorted out the alternator. But my parents go away for a couple weeks, and if I don't turn on the car for them, then the battery is dead and they have to call for service to, like, you know, get it all working again. And if I had one of those cars, it would constantly be having that, or I don't know, they would have to set it up in such a way that it has, I don't know, you can get those trickle things, but I don't know if these modern cars work like that. I just don't need the constant electronics. I don't know. I mean, these cars have those dash cam things in them, except my parents never really do anything with it. I don't even know if they are able to get the footage off. Like, I think they've looked at it once and probably forgot about it, and I'm just like, probably not even going to try and work it out until they need it, and then is it actually recording? I don't know. I'm just, yeah, no, these newfangled cars, they weird me out. And I don't know, that's pretty much all I had to say. I mean, I could go through more of the features and just be like, what even? I do like that it shows the temperature on the like, you can actually set the temperature on the aircon instead of just having to guess, like on my one. But yeah, and apparently, like, the steering wheel can heat up, and, you know, I guess they probably have heated car seats. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at what these things do, and they connect to your phone. And then, so, like, we're driving along and Mum gets a message. I think it's a, you know, just marketing thing, and the car goes, "You have a message, do you want to read it?" And she's, like, yelling at it, going, "No, no." Oh, I mean, they got built-in GPS. My GPS, I have a standalone GPS, and twice now on the way to band prac, it has kind of dropped out and needed to restart itself, and that is not fun when you're miles away from anywhere you recognize. I do have my phone as backup, but I prefer the way that the little standalone units direct things, because sometimes Google, especially over the Harbour Bridge, Google is like picking the wrong lanes, and I know they're the wrong lanes, so I don't follow it. But if you didn't know, good luck to you. Yeah, I don't know, what else have they got? It's just like, I look at the thing and like, I mean, My friends and family think I'm really tech, but actually I'm not. I'm kind of backwards and a little bit traditional in some ways. It's just that I happen to, like, when I need tech, then I research the crap out of it and decide what I want, or if I need to solve a problem, I know how to Google things. Although, you know, with AI starting to do more stuff, maybe I won't know how to Google stuff anymore. Because, yeah, some of the results these days are a bit like, yeah, okay, that's not what I meant. Because, you know, I used to know how to, oh, that's falling over. I used to know how to use, like, you know, those or, not, and, those kind of operators. But now the search engines are acting like you asked a question with normal language, and that's not usually how I search. Yeah, anyway, so I'm falling behind. And with the cars in particular, because driving is not a huge part of my life, like leaving the house is not a huge part of my life, but now that I'm doing it a bit more, it's just like, oh my god, look at all this stuff. And my car is just so far in the past. Like a lot of my gear, my music gear in particular. I live in fear of my MacBook Pro from 2009 dying. I hope I've backed up all the main stuff, but then I probably need to get a new version of Logic just to open it all, and will it be compatible? I don't know. Yeah, I really should try and do more on my PC, which I still haven't shown you what my current PC is, but yeah, no, this is my first chance to really make a vlog, and the dog is already wanting me to get him to bed, because it took so long, like everything is taking so long, and I don't have enough time at the moment, and some of it is, like, I've been going out a lot, all of a sudden, I don't know how that happened, I'm doing it, and then when I'm not going out, I'm recovering, I'm exhausted, I keep staying up too late. I have banned myself from Neopets again and gone cold turkey, but then last night my brain is looking for mischief and is just like, you know, here's someone who's left a stupid comment, I'm gonna destroy them. And then, you know, where did the time go? I had a little bit too much fun with that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just, I don't know, am I getting my life back together? Maybe. I also am still, though, having these moments where I'm like, why am I doing these things? Why am I putting all this effort in? And what do I want to do next? And do I really want to hit up all these venues and beg for gigs and potentially have them try and make me organize stuff again? But I really don't want to. After that gig, you know, the mosh pit one, I did consider organizing a gig for like my birthday, but then when I was thinking about it, like the amount I used to organize gigs and the amount of effort and dealing with musicians, and then I don't even know, you know, which bands are still operating who would be interested and would be interested in a small venue like that, and then trying to promote it, and I'm just like, that's not really a birthday then. Like the only thing, I mean, I don't tend to place a huge amount of value on my birthday anyway. I think it's more just, you know, if I say, hey guys, it's my birthday gig, now you have to come, it's kind of using that social guilt to make people turn up. But if I want to try and overcome my mental health bullshit and be more of a normal person, then maybe I should try and make something out of my birthday that I actually like. But is that just me sitting at home like I always do? I don't know. So there's a lot of thoughts going on. And just trying to, I don't even know exactly what I hope to achieve because I am such a mess, and my brain, like I had psychology today and trying to explain to her that my brain just goes off in all these directions, and it's really hard to plan my life because it's not like the music version of me has ideas, but that's not the only version of me, and so the art version of me is like, yeah, but when am I going to have time to do all this? And then the part of me that's just like trying to get through each day, it's like there's no time for any of that. And then the bonsai part of me hasn't had a go for a long time, and you know, even the YouTube part of me, all I've had time for really is dog videos and music stuff that I've done that I feel obligated to post as soon as possible, and then still not really necessarily getting that done. And I haven't even posted that other thing on Instagram of my artwork from before, and it's just like, what even is life at the moment? I'm just, I don't know which version of me I'm going for now. Trying to manage it all, really difficult. We talked about parts work, but I just don't see how it would happen, because whatever mood I'm in, that's the only one that, like, it's really hard to think in any other version of me except the mood that I'm in. And if they want me, especially if they wanted me to do role playing, not gonna happen. And this is just all the parts of the regular version of me, not even the like really dissociated, distinct part of me. This is just normal me. Normal me. My brain has too many ideas and too many goals and too many things to do, but no proper ambition and no commitment to any particular path, so what am I doing? But the music stuff, well, band is happening because it doesn't just involve me. So they finally got their shit together and I turn up and do my thing. I keep turning up on time, which seems like a mistake given I'm the singer, and even when they turn up on time themselves, it still takes them half an hour to get ready, so maybe I shouldn't rush off. But what did my psychologist say? I overfunction. If I'm gonna do something, I try and do it right and get a little bit over the top, like doing an open mic. Not usually a big deal, not something that most people will promote, but I promoted it as if it was like a big gig. At least in my own way. Like, I'm not going to go around paying for advertising or putting posters up for something like that. Definitely not. Anyway, but yeah, I tend to overfunction and then wonder why I've burned out again. Anyway, so that turned into a bit of went off on a tangent, didn't I? I was trying to talk about cars. Maybe cars are like symbolic of how much time I have not been in the world, and it's just all getting away from me and I'm getting old. Like my car. Which, there are a few things I need to learn about how even cars work and how to look after it properly. But that's a problem for later me. I've got to get the dog to bed. Yeah, hi. I'm still existing. Sort of. Good night.